we are going to know about our constitution. So before starting the chapter, I just tell you a basic thing, that here you can see in this picture, this is our Constitution of India. So it looks like a book, correct? So constitution actually it's a book, and where all the legal documents with the force of law defines it, and it defines the structure of the government in a given country. Suppose this is a Constitution of India, so it defines the structure of the government and the composition of the government. So each and every details are written in the constitution. So constitution are basically constitution, it is a basically it is a law book. So it is a law book of a country where everything is defined. Is it clear? What is constitution? Constitution is a law book of a country where each and every law is described. It defines the structure of the government, composition of the government, how the government works, how the government elected, everything, each and every single thing is written here. Like the power and position of the Prime Minister. Now you can see nowadays Prime Minister, many times our Honorable Prime Minister Modi came and addressed us. So each and everything, that what are the things he can do, what are the things he can't. So a power, the duties of the government or the governmental institutions, or this fundamental rights, our duties, everything is written in the constitution. Is it clear to you? So the date of adaptation on January 26th January 1950, our last Governor General of India, Chakrabarti Rajgopalacharya, read out a proclamation announcing the birth of the Republic of India. Clear? So from that day our constitution was adopted. So why we celebrating 26th January? Now hopefully you can understand, because on that day our constitution was adopted. Now next one is Constituent Assembly. So Constituent Assembly was it was the body where that it at first it was proposed that okay, we will going to make constitution. So it was a body, and the idea of Constituent Assembly was first proposed in 1934 by M.N. Roy. But these are things is not in your syllabus, just for basic understanding or general understanding I am telling you. However, the actual Constituent Assembly was formed in the year of 1946, means 1 year before independence. It was formed in the year of 1946 on the basis of the Cabinet Mission Plan. And if you will see the background of the Constituent Assembly, then in 1934 M.N. Roy first proposed the idea of Constituent Assembly. So first time he proposed. Then the demand was taken up by the Congress Party in 1935. Then the British accepted this in 1940. Then under the Cabinet Mission Plan 1946, elections were held for the formation of the Constituent Assembly. Then the members of this assembly were elected indirectly by the members. So they elected indirectly. So this thing also you have to understand, or you have to remember. The members of the Constituent Assembly, they were elected indirectly by the members of the provincial assemblies by the method of a single transferable vote or proportional representation. Nowadays we choose our leader by direct vote, correct? Your mother, your father, or your sister, or your family members, they are giving votes, and by giving votes, who are getting majority votes, they elected, correct? But on that time, when the Constituent Assembly was made, that time it was not possible to conduct vote. For that we choose to elected the members indirectly and by the members of provincial assemblies, and we use the method of single transferable vote or proportional representation. On the basis of the proportional representation, we give the vote, means we are not giving vote, the people are not giving vote, the member, they are elected indirectly by the member of the Congress party or by the proportional representation. And many other parties also, they also elected. It is completely elected by single transferable vote. You just remember the word single transferable vote or proportional representation. The Constituent Assembly was formed for the purpose of writing a constitution for independent India. Why the Constituent Assembly was made? It was made, the main purpose is to writing a constitution, to write a constitution, because that time we would be independent. So for that independent country we need a constitution. Why we need constitution? Because we need some written documents or legal documents by which we can work. So there is something which is written, if something which is legal and if it is enforced by the law, then we are able to understand that these are the structure and compositions and these are the do's and don'ts. So for that we need a constitution, and for writing the constitution or to write a constitution, the Constituent Assembly was made. Is it clear to you? Correct. Now next one is Constituent Assembly. If you will see that it was set under cabinet mission plan, I told you earlier, and the Constituent Assembly had two roles to play. The first thing I told you, that for writing the constitution or the frame the Constitution of India, and the second was set up the interim government. Set up the interim government till the constitution came into force and a government was appointed. So until or unless if the government is not elected or if we not choose our government, so we need an interim government, right? Because if there is an interim government, then they can work or they can plan according to it, that what will be the plan after when we will go to independent. So for that setup we need a interim government, and for the interim government, for setting up the interim government, the Constituent Assembly was made, and it was till the constitution came into force, a government was appointed. It worked on that time. Clear? So sorry. Now composition. In 1946, three members of British cabinet, they are A.V. Alexander, Pethick Lawrence and Sir Stafford Cripps. So who are the three? Alexander, Lawrence and Stafford Cripps, to solve the constitutional deadlock in India and put forward the certain proposals. It decided that legislative assemblies of the provinces were to elect the member of the Constituent Assemblies. The Constituent Assemblies had 389 members. Earlier it had 389 members and 292 elected members. 292 elected members from the provinces and 93 from the princely states. Clear? So it is included the Muslim League members also. But however, after independence and the formation of the Constituent Assembly of Pakistan, the number of member got reduced. In July 1946, it was at the beginning. In 1946, there are 389 members. So now you can understand that how the single transferable board, how they are elected. So they are elected 292 from provinces and 93 from princely states. Now in July 1946, elections to the Constituent Assembly were held, but the Muslim League boycotted the assembly and demanded a separate state of Pakistan. They demanded for a separate state and they did not come and they did not join. So in July 1946, on August 15, 1947, Indian Independence Act was passed and accordingly India was partitioned into two separate independent states. Hopefully you know the name, India and Pakistan, and the British transferred their authority. Clear? So British transferred their authority, and after transferring the authority there are two independent states, that is India, on the other hand Pakistan. So sorry, our next thing is that framing of the Indian Constitution. So Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru in the year 1938 demanded a Constituent Assembly, explaining that the National Congress stands for a democratic and independent states, because National Congress stands for democratic and independent state. He further proposed that for free India, a constitution must be framed. Jawaharlal Nehru, he emphasized on the word the democratic and independent state, and he said that, or he demanded that there must be framed, a constitution must be framed, and that too without any interference by a constituent assembly based on adult franchises. The Constitution Assembly included representatives from all sections of the Indian society. Here you can see, here all the sections are represented. It's not like that some sections or the rich sections are represented. Here all the sections of the society, they represented it in Constituent Assembly. Some of the prominent members were the national leaders of India, such as Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, Vallabhbhai Patel, Sardar Baldev Singh. So these are the very prominent and popular figures on that time. So they were there. They were the members of Constituent Assembly, and other religious and communities had their representatives too. It's not like that only the Congress had representation, but many other religious and communities also, they represented in Constituent Assemblies, such as Frank Anthony, who spoke for Anglo-Indians, and Dr. H.P. Modi, who represented the Parsis, and women's for representing the women, such as Sarojini Naidu, Durgabai Deshmukh, Rajkumari, Amrit Kaur, Vijay Lakshmi Pandit gave valuable inputs towards the preparing the framework of our constitution. Clear? Now India was a dominion under, so hopefully this is clear to you, that in Indian constitution, for framing Indian constitution, each and every sections of the society, they represented in the Constituent Assembly. There were many prominent and popular figures like Jawaharlal Nehru or Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, or there are Sardar Baldev Singh. There are very prominent figures, as well as there are many religious communities or many communities we can see who represent Anglo-Indians, women sections of our country. So it represent, or the people represent various sections of our society, just because you know that India is a unity in diversity. We have diversity of culture, religion and everything, but still we are together. So here also there are various communities, rich communities, religious communities, or the, if you see by gender, there are two communities, male communities and female communities. So for the section for the women section also there are representations. So these are the thing. Now the basic thing that now there all the sections were represented. Now India was a dominion under the British Commonwealth, acknowledging George VI as a king and emperor. On 26 January 1950, the 34th and the last Governor General of India, Chakravarti Rajgopalacharya, read out a proclamation announcing the birth of Republic of India, as we discussed. Now the Constituent Assembly took almost 3 years. It took almost 3 years, but exactly it is 2 years. It's exactly 2 years. If you'll see, 2 years, 11 months and 17 days. To complete its historic task of the drafting the constitution for independent India, during this period it held 11 sessions. It covers at least a total days of 165 days. So 11 session through 165 days. Of these, 114 days were spent on the consideration of the draft commission. So 114 days they were spent on the consideration of the draft commission. The Constitution of India, Constitution of the draft commission. Now the Constitution of India came into effect declaring India as a, if you will see, sovereign, democratic and secular. So these are the three words which actually, for if you will see the previous constitution, so in our previous constitution there were three words: sovereign, secular and democratic. So India declared itself as it is a sovereign, democratic and secular states, and the rest two terms, socialist and republic, these two words added afterwards. And Dr. Rajendra Prasad took oath as the president of new republic. So hopefully you know Rajendra Prasad, he was the Dr. Rajendra Prasad. He was our first president. So he took oath as the president of India. And in 1946 on June 9, on 1946, 9th December at 11 am, the first session of Constituent Assembly was held. So maybe one question will arise, ma'am, when the first session of the Constituent Assembly was held. So it was held on December 9 at 11 am in 1946. Clear? The first session was held, and which was attended by 207 members, and it was held in Central Hall of the Parliament House in New Delhi. Clear? So we had discussed about that at the beginning there were 389 members, but on July 1946 Muslim leagues were not attended, they were boycotted, and after that, after July, on 9th December at 11 am 1946 in New Delhi Parliament, the first session of Constituent Assembly held. Now, okay, that's it, and in our next video we will discuss about the other important thing like objective resolutions, drafting committee, but for today's video that's it. Okay, thank you.